Good morning. Good morning. I can say that until I get a response. I am so glad you're here on this beautiful, sunny, but no warmth, wintry morning to break bread with us and be inspired by a wonderful speaker for the day. Shall we pray? Thank you, dear God, for the gift of a beautiful day, wonderful friends and colleagues, insightful speaker, Betty, and food graciously prepared and served by our dining services staff. We thank you that we do have enough to eat today. May that be true for all those who hunger around our city and our world. Lord, bless the fellowship around the tables and bless the hands that made it all possible. Amen. Enjoy your lunch. Good morning again. Allow me to interrupt your fellowship so that I can introduce my BFF, whose name starts with B. Bethlehem Abera Gruneberg comes from Ethiopia. That's right next to Kenya. That's in the Eastern African region, where she earned her undergraduate degree in computer science at the Addis Ababa University. And while she was working for the UN Economic Commission for Africa, she met a guy from North Dakota who promptly swept her off her feet, and that's how she ended up in Fargo. Betty has spent 20 years working in organizations such as Intel, Sandog, and Intelligent Insights, before she plunged headlong into the world of social entrepreneurship, where she's hard at work inspiring girls to get interested in the big, great world of computers. This is a very abbreviated version of Betty's story. So help me welcome her to the podium so she can tell us, fill in the details. Betty?
All right, thank you for the awesome introduction. That's not the bio I sent, so she fell in the blanks. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for coming to listen to me and my story. Although it won't be my story, be summarized in a half hour. I try to highlight things that are relevant. So the year was 1998. I was in a small town, population 200, southeast of North Dakota, or southeast North Dakota, when a stranger asked me, "Where did you hail from?" And it was a population that is mostly Scandinavian, blonde and blue eyes. So the question is very fitting. So my answer is I fell from the sky. Technically, the airplane dropped me from the clouds, and I said, the land of the free, here I come. So that's my story. As a Bush Foundation Leadership Fellow, we are constantly challenged to think big and to think different. And you might have heard the saying that the journey of an entrepreneur starts at the end of your comfort zone, or if your dream doesn't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. So that is thinking big. So I'm here to tell you that I am both uncomfortable on a daily basis and I have nightmares. So I have arrived in thinking big, I guess. And thinking different comes naturally to me because I am from the same planet but a different world. While growing up in Ethiopia, I've never imagined myself being in North Dakota and standing in front of you and talking about my passion, which wasn't what it was. These are my parents, my cheerleaders, my original mentors, the people who helped me grow up rooted in faith, woven with love, and wrapped in kindness. My parents, as well as the town and the village around me. So in Africa, we say it takes a village, and in America, we say it's social capital, very important. As a young girl, I was always curious. Some would say intensely curious. My father is my hero. He reads very religiously his Bible every day and night, actually. And I used to say, oh, how do I get there? How could I read chapter books? And by the time I get to first grade, which was seventh grade, I was able to read well in the Ethiopian language, Amharic. So without even him knowing it or saying anything, he was my point of inspiration. Oh, before that, also in Ethiopia where I grew up richly blessed, but we didn't have educational resources. We didn't have neighborhood libraries or schools filled with books. So the way we read in high school were by borrowing books from friends. We read lots of novels, usually Agatha Christie's fiction novels. We don't know where it comes from, but my friends would lend me one, a tattered and torn book, and then I would read, and then I'll send it back. The only rule was if we lost it, then we have to pay for it. So it sounds like the library system. So I read those books. My English was not good, so I fill in the blanks in the stories for the words and the cultures I didn't know. But my sister, my older sister, who shares the same room with me and sleeps in the same bed, used to make me translate the book and tell stories, tell her the stories, to summarize it for her. So every night she used to bother me, and then I would translate it in Ethiopian and tell her, which without her knowing it also helped me immensely, because that not only reading the book, decoding it, synthesizing it, and being able to articulate those stories helped me a lot in my life and future life. And so those are my journeys, and I graduated actually majoring in statistics and minoring in computer science. I was one of the two female who were given the opportunity to study computer science, the country's first ever computer science program. And the other female is Salam, my friend. When they asked us to be part of the program, we have never seen a computer before, let alone program it. So we were as excited as well as very nervous about it. And what helped me is the professors who, as mentors, who said, you can do this, you're good at maths. I wasn't particularly remember being great at maths in the early years, but I remember in sixth grade where the final exam in maths have 100 questions, multiple choice, and I'm answering the questions, and it goes, the answers A, B, C, D, E, E, D, C, B, A. So I saw a pattern and then starting filling the blanks. So that was taking the risk, but it was like this, all 100 questions, and I got 100. And the teacher was very happy that somebody cracked the code. And so that was also recognizing patterns that helped me later in life for software development processes. So we programmed with languages like Fortran, Pascal, and COBOL, which as early as 10 years ago were a very important language to process finances in AS400. And I'm not saying, but I might have crashed a few computers, creating never-ending loops. But I have never worked a day in my life in statistics, and these were my point of affliction, or computer science. And I went on to graduate from NDSU in software engineering. I worked from software engineer to senior software engineer, software engineering manager, and while trying to hire people here in Fargo and not finding not very many people in the pipeline, let alone women, but even men, I wondered why we don't have women in this country, United States. Why do we not have women come to this very rewarding computer program? So I started researching and volunteering at schools, and that's how You Code Girl was born. And especially because these three women are the pioneers, the motherboard of computer science, and they obliterate the stereotype or the narrative of who is a nerd or a computer science. On our left, Ada Lovelace, that's the date that she wrote computer science instructions, not even on a computer, on paper. She was a mathematician and a poet. She wrote this computer instruction for a computer that didn't even exist yet. So Charles Babbage is the first one who created that computer, and she wrote the instruction because computers at that time were taught as calculators. So in the middle, we have Dr. Grace Hopper, the admiral, who coined the phrase. It's attributed to her, debugging, that is fixing computer glitches. And she is the one who worked on COBOL and was the foundation for writing high-level languages like Java that we use today. So she, on her way, writing a high-level computer language, squashed a bug on Harvard One, which is a big calculator. So because of that, there was actually literally a bug on the system that she found, and she put it in her diary. Because that bug was taken out, the computer started working. And we have Katherine Johnson, a figure from the movie Hidden Figures. She was a NASA engineer who helped write the mathematics, calculated the trajectory of the Apollo flight. So all these awesome women, only Katherine Johnson is living. I'm not sure if Grace is living. But when she was asked, Katherine Johnson, and she said, I just did what I love to do. I love maths, and then they call her the girl who counted, and she was a computer when computers used to wear skirts. So she just come every day against all odds. It was during the Jim Crow time, being courageous and resilient and doing the job and doing it well and being very intelligent and focused and creative. And that's all women have, all the attributes that women have to be successful in a computer science program or any other STEM fields. So it was International Women's Day yesterday, so I want to honor these women, as well as my mother, who is very, very strong. I'm the youngest of 7 children, and she helped me find my words and shine from within. So I'm very proud to have been born from her. So we are in the 4th industrial revolution. Some call it Industry 4.0. The World Economic Forum, in their report 2016, says that the changes, the revolution that come from mechanization, automation, and now the cyber and the physical world connected together at an accelerated pace. We all know that technology is changing the way we live, we interact, and we do business. But that's happening at a much faster pace that we have to be ahead of it, because we already know that supercomputers, smart bots like this one is running our life at some extent, because they listen to our behaviors, learn from us. and can do the calculating jobs at a much faster pace than we can. So the human capital has to be adapting faster than we have been adapting in all the industrial revolutions, and shifting the human capital from medial tasks to a higher order level thinking and work. And that is our future. Our children need to have that level of thinking that would allow them to be in partnerships with the supercomputers, so that the machines can do the day-to-day tasks, and the people can be creative, entrepreneurial, and directing and managing and driving the future. And somebody said the future problem would be knowledge haves and knowledge not haves. So we want to be among our children. The future should be among the knowledge haves. And so we know that intelligence is an innate ability to understand, reason, and learn, but wisdom is acquired skills and experiences. So we want our young children to have this, at New Code Girl, to have this knowledge and experience in STEM, so they can choose to engineer their worlds the way they see it, and be confident to have these tools in their toolbox and go out in the world and create solutions, because we want to create more creators of solutions to all the problems we have. And at You Code Girl, we believe that girls are curious, creative, and capable, and when they are confident in their abilities, they can accomplish any task they choose to. That's Cynthia and Zoe, who are participants of our program, and they keep coming from our summer camp to our mentorship to our other programs, because they found themselves to be among the people, among other girls that are like-minded. So more by creating communities, they feel like they can be their best in there. So, but the research at Harvey Mudd College states that girls in middle school, starting in middle school, diverge from STEM-centered activities because they think that it's not a fun thing, or they feel like they're not good at it, or it's a boys' club because it is a boys' club. And the mindset, why they do that, they say, is because they react to social pressures as what what a girl can do, or if the friends are not the social norm, where if the friends are not in that program, then they won't be on it too. Because there was this young girl, very, very bright, and I was with her and her parents, and we were talking, I want you to come to You Code Girl and do this summer program. We do this, we do that. I was trying to sell it to her, and she's like, no, no. So I was discouraged, and maybe I should let her go. But one question, what would it take for you to come to our program to have fun in doing some coding? And she's like, my friends. So that is very important, and they are inadvertently choosing fields that leave their potentials untapped because of it. So there's a couple research that shows that that supports why they do what they do, is the confidence gap in girls and boys start early. I can't read it. And because of that, girls get less airtime in class. I was the opposite. Growing up, I was a teacher's pet. And I paid for it. I sat in front of the classroom. If you think of Hermione, maybe I don't say it right, but from Harry Potter movie, that was me. So I still take things very religiously. When they say study, study, do your homework, and do class. And in college, actually, I used to love calculus, and when they have problems or during the exam or a test, I would write all the details on how I got there. So they'll give me +2, +3, and and a lot of people don't like me. The boys didn't like me. So in our school, they couldn't do anything to me in Ethiopia until the end of school. So they would say, "You wait till the end of school." So that scared me. Sometimes I not do things because I'm afraid. So, but if I wasn't confident in myself, and I rely on I'm the youngest, so I had brothers and sisters, and I'd say, we'll be there on the last day of school. Don't worry, you just keep studying. If they come for you, we'll be there the last day of school. So I keep going. So that's very important, that it's very real that people, girls, even in the United States, get teased for being smart. And they tell us at our program that that happens to them. So being in cohort of people is very important. When a young girl goes to tech leaders in middle school and she's the only one, you better believe it that she will not come back the next day. But if she sees another person, then she will be there, a lot more confident with it. So, also this national organization called Girls Who Code, and the founder said that we tell boys to be brave, and we tell girls to be perfect. And that's very true. I picked it up along the way somewhere, so look at me, I'm very well dressed up and put together. If my colleague will ask to come present, he'll come as he is, with jeans and t-shirt. So somewhere we are told to be perfect. If perfect is not good enough, then we don't do our things. And she was also explaining how girls come to the summer class, and then when the coding that they do is not good or doesn't fix what it needs to do, they will delete it. And they will ask for help because it's not perfect. They don't want to be disappointed or disappointing others. So it's a real problem that we need to work on. And the problem is also facing right in front of us. We've been watching this from last year. This is 2017 data, and the 2016, we have in North Dakota 935 open jobs. It used to be 576. And while the number of graduates remain the same or is less in computer science, those open jobs are in computing. And the numbers also have gone up of students who took AP Computer Science from 35 to 96. And from that number, the girls' number is the sad one because it decreased from 17%, I think, to 11% now. And I guess 6% underrepresented, it was 0. So that's a good thing. But 96 is not something to be proud about. It's all of the North Dakota high schools. If we go to Davis, we have 1,200 students. And for the jobs that we have in North Dakota, and you can imagine nationally, we are in trouble. So we need to make students in hard sciences, create students in hard sciences. And this is a George Washington University research that was done in 2013, and they show that not all majors are created equal, that STEM majors right out of college is one of the highest paying, all engineering jobs are, and that has really gone so much now. The average but that has gone so much. And it's also a major that in mid-career, without having advanced degree, grows the fastest of the careers. So So we have the number reason, the financial reward for it, that companies are desperate for diversity of ideas. And there's so many research from the Harvard Business Review that says, you want more team productivity, hire more women, and more women in tech. And the tech trending jobs is going exponentially growing and not slowing down. So we wonder why are we as a community not focusing on that from higher institute learning to high school to schools. And this is the result. There is interest in childhood at elementary level, and it goes down in college for women and men. And as you go to the tech position and tech executive position, it goes narrows and narrows. Whereas women are 50% of the population and have 60 to 80% of purchasing powers. So we would like to see products and services that we would like to consume. So UCode Girl exists to remove barriers and roadblocks away from the young girls that stops them from participating in STEM careers, more specifically the T of the STEM. So from the identified research, we work on demystifying the technical skills, but through our summer camp where they create scarves and t-shirts that lights up based on the sensing, the beating of their heart. So combining electrical engineering and coding, they can do fun stuff. So it's an introduction, at least they can do experiential project-based learning. And if that's what interests them and spark their interest, it's something that they can go to school for. Another main reason is sometimes you can't be what you don't see, not always. We have pioneers who trailblaze the way, but most of the time we don't have social, relatable, and accessible role models. There are in the communities, but they weren't connecting. So we created this STEM mentorship program that's currently going during the whole entire school year. We have 42 young women, as young as 6th grade, being mentored by 42 professional women, computer science professionals, maths professionals, women leaders, entrepreneurs, and people that they can help see the girls' career aspirations and help them connect what they like to do, what they are good at, and what the world needs, so they can find their own best self, so that we can rewrite the narrative of who can be a software engineer or a tech or a STEM mentor, not for anybody else, but just for the girls that see, it's not boys' words. You can be it too. So these are some of the programs we offered last summer, and the foundation of it is confidence and role models, otherwise giving them the entrepreneurial and technical skills. And this is a quote by Google Education Evangelist, and that's where things are heading, that we want to solve a problem than doing everyday facts, repeating the maths multiplication or division, but the schools doing more of project-based or problem-based solutions. So creating that opportunity for them and changing the mindset of the thinking from this column to that column. So at UCode Girl, the 3 elements we combine is the computational design thinking, which is finding a pattern, complex problem, decomposing it into smaller pieces, giving them the practical leadership traits, and the entrepreneurial mindset. So we're not school. What are we? You can think of us as the premier soccer club in town that creates JV and varsity to the school system, and also help with the advocacy for the school systems to help provide computer science programs in the high schools. We are also creating a community community of girls. When they first come to the class, they would say, I don't know anybody, I'm not sure. But then when they see others, then their sparks can light up as well. So I see this, that's from the same Georgetown University study, that there are lots of male and higher percentages. I see opportunity that there is an opportunity to increase more women and be part of that program. Because why not? And it's showing, it's a movement. It's a movement throughout the nation and the world that things are looking up. These are the girls that took computer science AP exam, which is a preparatory course for the colleges. That has increased by, it says, it used to be 2,600 to 29,000. That's a national statistics, and that's a good sign. We saw it in North Dakota too, the increase in number. So the work that all of us do is very important. The partnership of the private, public, and nonprofits together as a community, building social capital is what we need. I'll just leave you with the final thought of what we are doing in our program so the girls can tell the story.
In their curiosity, nurturing their passion. Our year-round skill-based programs provide opportunities for young women to learn from professional women who are leaders in their fields. At our summer camp, girls dive into coding, design, web development, and robotics projects. They explore their interests and develop skills like practical leadership, creative problem solving, analytical thinking, collaboration, as well as marketing their ideas and more.
We did the MBOT robot. We programmed it to do a bunch of different activities. For example, a maze that it had to go through using an ultrasonic sensor. And then we also did a wearable tech t-shirt that I'm wearing using a heart sensor. These LEDs can blink to the beat of your heart.
I really did enjoy the cybersecurity and encryptions. That was just really fun. It was like learning a different language.
I learned Scratch. That was my first language I learned. So it was really interesting to actually be able to learn more of the more advanced stuff.
I would say that it's fun and empowering and inspiring, and you can learn a lot of new things, make a lot of new friends. So my favorite thing about you, Co-Girl, would probably be just everything. I'm not sure. I really like the instructors and how they would always help us. And it wasn't just like this kid was good at something, it was everybody is good in their own different ways and everybody's unique. And so I think that was good.
When you choose to support UCO Girl, leaders are incubated, potentials are unlocked, and communities thrive. Choose inspiration, choose empowerment, choose UCO Girl.
Thank you.
Okay, so what questions do you have for Betty?
Great presentation, Betty. I'm thinking that there is a difference between being a software engineer working for a firm somewhere and even in a managerial position and running a program like You Code Girl. And obviously you are passionate and you are also a forward-thinking leader. But my question is, what are the surprises? What were the surprises and what, or the challenges that you encountered and maybe still encountering, is the person in charge of putting together, like, the mind behind a program like that, and from the inception to the implementation, and what kind of support can we give you?
Oh, good questions. So when I started, the Bush Foundation gave me that courage, and I'm gonna go do this, and I gathered people, and that's important, a network of people who you articulate the problem and the solution that you're wanting to provide, and even sitting with on the problem and more going through the discovery process. It was exciting, that's the beginning of it, and then comes the no. So when you go to people and ask, and they're like, oh, no. So that was the hardest part. And at first, as passionate as I am, I took it personally, and that was hard. But then I say, no means that they're not ready, and they just want to watch and see if this thing is taking root, and they will come around, or maybe that it's not the right alignment. So once I start seeing it in that way, then it's really opened. It really has grown organically with a community of support and people who see the problem of girls wanting to realize their potential and helping support. So it has gone really awesome in terms of that, as the community is supporting it and what we can do about it. But it's not an easy journey. Take it one day at a time. I have nightmares. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So we get support from people who have talent in the instruction of computer science or STEM, leadership training people, or people who don't have not have that kind of support, but they can be partner with us and help us build in the operation side of it. People who have money can support us with money. So, or also, the important part is recruitment and encouraging a young girl. I think the most crucial part is to encourage the young girl to explore that side of her, the creative side, in the technology side, and seeing that, oh, you want to try this? There are various enrichment programs in town, so I'll have her experience that. That is the most important thing. It's easier for us to recruit the girls to come, because that's also the hardest part.
So Betty, I know you're the mom of 3 boys, and sometimes when you have a program or an effort that's focused on girls, for example, people say, well, why is it important to focus your energy on girls in this particular case? So I thought being the mom of 3 boys, you have a unique perspective to share, but why is it important kind of for everybody to have a focus specifically on girls in this particular case?
Yeah, I have a mom of 3 boys, and they think I'm sexist. And one time, my oldest son, saw me, saw the things that we are developing for the summer camp. He's like, why don't I come? And it breaks my heart, but he's fine. He's a sophomore in high school. He's taking AP Computer Science, and I would like to think I have anything to do with it, but no, because he is very, very well read from the early ages, and that reading stretches your mind and how to think. And he does Lego robotics all his life. He's been building and playing Minecrafts, and that helps a lot of problem-solving skills. So we are doing disadvantage when we segment girls and boys into, I think maybe it's in America, I don't know if it's in Europe, where we have color-coded as they're born, blue and pink, and then we raise them as princesses, and so those kind of things robs the kid. Everyone is born with ability to be what they could be, but sometimes the girls that inadvertently we kind of hijack their things, their abilities. So that's why we're not segmenting the girls alone, but we are giving them that platform and opportunity, if you will, so they can a little bit flourish and they can go. I know Zoe has gone back and recruited. She has taught some of the classes, the projects we have done back to her classroom, and she said she has recruited more to be in her tech leader program, not her, but the school's tech leader program. So that's very important. We are seeing that impact or result already. So, yeah. And also giving, women the platform to help be part of the journey. The women mentors, they say it's as much for them as it is for the girls, because they didn't have that opportunity. And also we have students that are cross-cultural, so mentor-mentee relationship was also cross-cultural, because we're like, oh, we have a problem or an opportunity. The way you look at it, we have more girls of diverse background and mentors who are professionals who were not. So that was really also helping that learning cross-culture. Yes.
Can your mentors be male, or do you think it's more beneficial for the girls to have a female mentor so they can see themselves?
Yeah, that it was intentional to have female mentors. The instructors can be, in the summer camps and other programs can be male, but the mentorship program is intentionally to have that accessible and visible role models, because in the tech world, when you think of the tech leaders, we have this one sample of Cheryl, who created the Lean In book, but otherwise it's Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and they're very high level up there. We want people in the community that are engineers, that are tech leaders, that are technologists, architects, to be the one that are relatable to them.
I have one more question. Besides them just being female, do you look at any other demographics? Are you trying to get certain schools or certain different communities within Fargo to participate?
The beauty of our program is we are like, don't have any boundaries. So we have a group of students, maybe you've seen a few of them. We have private school, public school, homeschool students, and we have one online school student that come together, and also that's another socioeconomic diversity.
Other questions for Betty?
I must say that Dr. Faye is our STEM mentor. She's a leader. But you have that leadership element that's so powerful. And Concordia, also Leah from Concordia, a maths professor, is also a mentor, and we had a Concordia instructor. So we take from all the three universities to supplement.
As a mom of 3 girls, I'm super excited about this opportunity, so thank you. I'm just curious about what ages you allow into this program, when the earliest ages that can start, and when the age that you feel it's most beneficial.
Yeah, that's also a great question. Middle school to high school is when we started, 12 to 18, and then we're finding that the girls have so much excitement in the elementary schools, and that's when it actually should start. And then they don't bridge that chasm between 4th and 5th to middle school. And also we can't, once your ideas and thoughts are formed, it's really hard to bring them and say, come and try this. They're like, no. We went to Trowwood Performing Arts School, not to, computer science is a liberal art, and say, this is art, you come, and they're like, never. Why would you, what? And then you ask the question differently, what would it take? And they're like, snacks, and, if we have snacks, they would come, but don't take no for an answer, or no means different things, same as the funders. So, I forgot the question. Oh, the age, yes. So this summer, we realized that we needed to help also the young ones. So we're providing a UCode Girl Junior summer camp for 4th and 5th graders. So we can do the kind of a Scratch type of programming, high level, block level programming. And then we provide UCode Girl, and then UCode Girl Senior, with also, so that they're not bored, the seniors, we provide like things like web development, actually developing websites for small business, and then they can see it be deployed live, as well as give them that basic Java programming background, so they can try and go to school and select computer programming as an option. And in the fall, hopefully, we're going to provide out-of-school tutoring in computer science for students, so to take them from that, exciting them doing this program, hands-on program, mentorship, and then now what? A young girl came to me and said, I really want to increase the number of computer science by 1, and I didn't have what to do after that thing with me, a plan. So now we are going to provide an out-of-school computer tutoring support, so that for schools that provide computer programming, we can say, girls come and if you will fill in the spaces between the instructions at the high schools, so that they can ace. Anyone that comes to our program will ace the computer science AP exam. That's what we're going to say, and we're going to stick to it. So, so that kind of way, closing the gap and involving the college students in computer science, students to be involved in our as role models, because they're very near to them, close in age to them. So we will close the loop.
I'd have been surprised if Alex had not asked a question.
Hi, so thank you very much again for sharing your experience and this inspiring organization. I was wondering, with giants we have in the community, such as Microsoft and other tech companies, is there a way in the format of TEDx, the way they bring in, guest speakers from all over the nation and whatnot, is there a way sometime for your camps to leverage, and I saw Sandy Piatz, I think, in the picture, a way of leveraging for instance, Microsoft connections to bring in sometimes wonderful women that are nationwide, if not even worldwide, because I mean, Microsoft is global, to inspire, like you said, some of the young girls and other even maybe tech connection that we're not aware of. I was just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some ideas in the bag. Sandy Piatz is on our board of directors. She and a number of Microsoft employees are huge supporter of UCode Girl. They get it. They have a DigiGirls program that provides three days of programming, and they say, oh, we have them. They come every year for 3 days, and we didn't know what to do in between the times. So our program is a year long, so the sustainable engagement, so they can see our partnership with them, so that we can continue. They would tell them to come to UCode Girl. There are a few from DigiGirls who came to UCode Girl, and vice versa. And yes, we can, thinking about different ways we can provide a global partnership. I'm from Ethiopia, so it's bound to go to Ethiopia. And so we have done some prototype in teaching coding in Ethiopian schools, and how to see the young girls there. When I said, I have some time, I'm here, I want to teach some coding for the girls, and the instructors, the people there, they say, oh no, girls, they're not enthusiastic. And so they wrote them off. And I said, no, never mind, just tell them that there is a program here for them for 3-4 days, and we'll do some leadership and coding skills. And so there come 50 girls interested, and I only have space for 30 in between the computers and internet going down, electricity going down. So we worked with them, and what I found out that there is so much hunger for learning, and the ideas they have in order, what kind of apps that they could create to solve a problem, and they don't even have how to make an app, the tools or the mechanism. It's like, what would be beautiful is to bring girls from America and bring girls from Ethiopia and connect them together, and together they can solve a problem, and how brilliant that power would be. So we're working on that.
It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you. I always wanted to meet someone who went to Hogwarts, so now I have. But I'm curious. I mean, such a fabulous experience for these young women when they're in the midst of the program. Do you know what happens when they finish? I mean, what happens when they go back to middle school or high school? Is You Code Girl affecting what's happening there in some ways? It's kind of a different version of Alex's question. This was about connections with people in industry. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious about connections that you have made or are striving to make in the school system, so that when they finish, they can keep going.
Yes. We're working slowly with the school system. The counselors and the career educators are our advocate. And we even last time when we did mentorship recruitment, we said, we don't only want kids that just raise their hands and want to be part of the program or their parents sign them up. We want the quiet ones, the ones that don't know, they are shy. So the school counselors helped us recruit. So we sent nomination letter, and they say, so-and-so, you are nominated to be part of this program. They're like, me? Yes, you? So that way we were able to work with. And Zoe is an example on how she brought it back and tried to create more girls in the community. So we want to be in partnership with the West Fargo, all the other schools. The Oak Grove is also a great advocate. When we have our summer program, they announce it for us. And the girls, we have a youth advisory council comprised of 10 girls that are ambassadors, so that they, respectively from their various schools, can talk about how exciting it is to be in programs like tech or STEM, or so that more girls can even go to the programs that's already existing in the schools, like the Science Olympiad. So because we're not saying that the only way to be in STEM career is through You Code Girl. Our goal is to increase the participation of girls. So the more the school system get that, it be in partnership with us through conversation, that would be, that's what we're working on. So also to be on site. So like the South High is willing for us to come on site after school, so we can provide some tutoring, so that computer science program that they offer can increase. And also the universities are important, university students and professors to connecting, because it behooves for the universities to recruit talent early on. And it's like the sports people do that as early as the 6th grade. My young niece was recruited for soccer at 6th grade, and somebody saw talent they were watching, and that helped set up her career in that. So the same thing for STEM careers. We have talents to help, so we can be the medium or the channel to help activate that.
Any final questions or comments?
I'm sitting here envying the young women who have this opportunity, and I've wondered if there are any opportunities for older girls, those of us over 50.
There's always a way to do it, and that's a lifelong learning piece of it. I think there's a program called Girls Develop It in town, Girl Develop It. It's a national organization that helps women in the workforce who wants to increase their skills in technical fields that they can go to that program. We are sticking with under 18 for now. Who knows though? We're always iterating. But I don't think we'll go to the adult world yet.
All right, is that it for questions? Well, join me in thanking Betty for informing and inspiring us. All those of you who have daughters in her age bracket, you know where to send them. Yeah. Your nieces, your friends' kids, and future Cobas. And I'll say this, but don't tell anybody. We trying to get Betty to teach one of the coding classes for a computer science program. So
I said yes.
She said yes. So thank you, my sister Betty, for everything that you do. I got to watch her on Giving Hearts Day. She was doing it from here with some of our students as volunteers. It is hard work. So I pray for you, Betty, that God will continue to strengthen you and that all these people here will give you some money because she's a one-man shop right now, or one-woman shop right now, but she needs all the help she can get so that she can accomplish these wonderful goals. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you all my Concordia colleagues. It's nice to see so many of you here today. Yeah? Yeah, there's a lot of you here today. Thank you. And next month we have Perry Hanson, who will be speaking to us reflections on faith and leadership. He's a Concordia grad. You will want to come and hear that, and you will want to bring 3 of your friends. See you next month.